It is a Friday. Our go-to guy for things in the sky is here, Mr. Jon Tupper. Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. Now, Jon, you are so qualified to talk about this. Not only are you the founder of the Amateur Astronomers Group here in Fort McMurray, but you've also been a telescope man for a very long time. You're an astrophotographer. You just do so many things about the beauty that is the celestial skies above us. And tonight, we might see a big show.
Yeah, tonight it's almost not even a case of you might see it. There is one of the largest geomagnetic storms heading our way in the last 20 years. So there's a huge amount. The sun has been going crazy the last couple of days and throwing off all sorts of matter into space that's heading to planet Earth. It gets caught up in our poles and it creates the northern lights. But there's so much of it coming our way that all of Canada and well into the United States, including as far north as Utah, will be seeing northern lights tonight.
But that is so exciting. Oh my goodness. So here in Fort McMurray, we are blessed that we often get to see them, but it sounds like tonight is going to be quite a show.
Yeah, absolutely. They rate the storms in magnitude from 1 to 5. This storm is rated a GK4, which means it's a severe geomagnetic storm. It's set to hit anytime this afternoon, and it'll be going right through tonight, tomorrow, and probably going on into the next day because this solar activity is just unrelenting right now, and it's pointing right at us. I personally have been observing space for 30 years. This is the second time in my life I've seen a sunspot in the sun that you can see without the use of a telescope. If you still had leftover eclipse glasses from the eclipse, you could pop those on and you would see this giant freckle on the lower left corner of the sun. It's a dark spot, and that's the storm that's throwing off this matter that's heading to Earth. Yesterday was actually a really cool day, Steph, because I was invited by Thickwood Elementary to take my telescopes and show Mr. Thompson's grade 4 class the sun. I hadn't even looked up ahead of time what was going on in the sun, and when I set up my telescopes and I looked through it, I had to censor my own language because there's just so much happening in the sun. There's solar flares going off the lower left, the southern corner of the sun right now that are about 50 times the size of the planet Earth.
Whoa.
Going into space, and they're covering about 1/10 of the corner of the sun. It's just massive. It's so extreme right now that they're sending out warnings to people that own satellites saying you might want to safe your electronics and put them into sleep mode while this storm hits.
Wow, I was going to ask, it seems like a benefit of a solar flare is that we get the northern lights, but it could also be a consequence that we could lose some satellites?
Yeah, there will be some geomagnetic effects in the satellites that are out there. The nice thing is that we've known about solar flares and sunspots for so long that most people that send out satellites have systems in place to protect those units. But where we might have some issues are some of those low Earth orbit satellites like Starlink, which have to communicate constantly among each other, and they tend to be very close to the Earth. So there is a good potential that some of them are going to get whacked. The good news is like 1 trillion Starlink satellites out cruising around, so Elon Musk can lose a few and he won't even notice the difference. A good joke, they're probably built like Teslas too, so.
Oh dear. So tonight though, we should definitely look up. Got any times for us, or just when it's not cloudy?
It's going to be, it's difficult to know exactly when the matter will impact the atmosphere on an hour-to-hour basis. But I was looking at the forecast for tonight. So there's going to be some off and on cloud occurring around 11 o'clock. The real strategy is to go the darker the better. So after about 11 o'clock at night, you're going to see the sun really start to get out of the way. We have only an 8% moon out right now, so it should be good and dark. I would just start looking towards the north anytime that you're in a cloud-free moment, or if you're going camping, this is the perfect time to just stay up late. If you have the opportunity to go down to Gregoire Lake away from the city lights, it's going to be spectacular. And if you're hearing this message now, I would would highly recommend charging up your batteries on your camera so you have lots of juice if you decide to take some photos of this.
Wow. Thank you so much. Our go-to guy for things in the sky, Mr. Jon Tupper. Really appreciate you always having the radar out and then telling us about what things we can look up and see and really take advantage of living in the north.
You bet. Thanks, and enjoy the show tonight.